A flourish at the end, just as we like it. White Magic for Lovers, just wonderful in session from Maida Vale. First you heard Drop, followed by The Edge of Nowhere. So, Thomas White, Tom, how are you, mate?
I'm pretty good, yeah. All things considered, yeah. Lovely to be back here, and yeah, thanks for having us.
It's a
Fantastic.
real pleasure, mate. And, you know, I mean, obviously, we go back such a long way.
I think possibly 2004 or 5.
And way before that with Radio 1.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We were chatting actually in the control room. We did a Radio 1 thing with ESP, Electric Soft Parade. This is for people who know the law. With it was with Star Sailor and Keane at the Brighton Dome in like October 2003 or 4 or something like that. And yeah, it was one of those where all the DJs sort of like descend on Brighton, and it's a week of sort of monster shows, you know.
Yeah, you don't want DJs descending on your town. It's like hen nights, you know. It's bad news. That I'm very sorry about it. Do you want a written apology? Is that what you're pulling me up on now?
Well, you all book out all of the good Airbnbs and B&Bs in Brighton, you know, when there's Great Escape. We all know all the label and the industry. They all get the good places.
Well, you know,
and then the bands are kipping on floors, you know.
Yeah, some of the DJs are as well, believe you me. So, Thomas, introduce your outfit. And when I'm saying your outfit, I don't mean the clothes you wear, and I mean the people that you're making music with.
I can do both, but yeah, we'll do the band.
Okay.
So, yeah, we are White Magic for Lovers. It's myself on guitar and vocal and harmonica. Then my dear husband, Alfie, on bass and vocal.
Hello.
Hello.
And Brighton legend, Charlotte Glasson, on sax, violin, flute, all sorts of things. We saw her play a gig recently, and she was sort of busting out all these things and playing all these instruments. And then I sort of looked up, and she was playing 2 penny whistles in harmony, doing a solo at the same time, which I've never seen before.
Well, that's just showing off, though, isn't it?
Mostly, yeah.
I think was it the saxophonist in Supertramp used to stick 2 saxophones in his mouth at the same time?
Well, no, Charlotte does that in The Wave. So you have heard Charlotte before. She plays sax with The Wave as well.
Oh, I know.
And,
Yeah.
And she does a little 2 sax trick. Very cheeky.
Right, okay. Well, that's... Yeah, but busking, I mean, you know, once you're at the show business, once you've had enough of show business, Charlotte, then you can just go and do that on the prom in Brighton. You'll make a fortune.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm sure you will. And so The Book of Lies, the album, it's an opulent, wonderful affair. So can you tell us a story behind it then, anybody?
Shall I take this one? Yeah, so essentially I'd had a long break from music starting in about 2018, and about sort of 5-6 years I didn't write anything and sort of really struggled to do my own music, and just went off and played with other bands and did session work and stuff, and I think actually a lot of musicians and artists say this, that having a break from what they do is the best thing that ever happened to their sort of songwriting or their production or their painting or whatever, and that's what I had. And I sort of came back to writing in sort of late 2023, maybe, something like that. And me and my brother are the same. We're very sort of self-critical, but part of that is that the really good songs do sort of get through. And I sort of I had one tune, which is the song we'll end on tonight. That was the first song that happened for the album, and yeah, I just sort of got a feeling that, oh God, right, I can write again now. It's back, you know, that whole thing. So yeah, it sort of came from that, in the wake of loads of stuff out, like we lost our dad and loads of sort of upheaval. But yeah, it all just sort of ended up going into this record. And at the time I had no team around me, nothing. It was just a sort of dream that at some point this music would get out there, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a very intricate and involved album, and like Count the Rings reminds me perhaps of 10cc. You know, I'm Not in Love has got absolutely no instruments on it, as I remember. And so, did you go in there with the intention of it being quite so delicate?
I think again that's something that's been informed by my sort of the reality of my own hearing, which since about 2012 I've had really bad hyperacusis and tinnitus, so I've sort of been attracted to and sort of erred on the side of quieter music anyway, and then this just sort of fed into that, and I did a lot of work very quietly on headphones, very detailed work mixing it, and spent a lot of time getting it right. I also had that feeling like I'm so old. Come on, I'm an old guy. I'm well over the hill, and I felt like if I'm going to come back with a record now, it needs to be really, really great. So I was just really careful with it, and I knew that there'd be like a handful of folks out there who know my stuff and who'd be sort of looking forward to it, and then there's a load of other people where it's like it needs to be really good, and I sort of just used that as a guide the whole way, that it had to really sort of own whatever space it's taking up, and I think it does musically. I think it's really interesting. I'm constantly horrified by a lot of music I hear, which is really bad thing to say. I'm not shit. Sorry.
As long as you don't name names, I think you're probably going to be on.
I'd love to name loads of names, but it's fine. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're talking about that and doing this delicate stuff, which is of your own making. But of course, we'll talk a little bit in a short while. For you wanting to rock out, you've got both the wave and sea power. So, I mean, you've still got everything going for you in every different respect, haven't you? Really?
Yeah. As I say, the last few years, I sort of really lent back into sort of saying yes to session work and working with, I've known Sea Power longer than I've known you, Mark.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah, wow.
I actually met Sea Power pretty much the month they moved to Brighton from Reading Uni, and saw them at a gig at the Concorde. They're playing about 6 p.m. or something, and I love this story, right? I walk into the Concorde. The first time I'd never met Sea Power. Walk into the Concorde, which anyone who's been there, they know it's like a long sort of ornate hall kind of thing with a bar. Yeah. It's quite a long building. And I could just see this band at the end, and the bass player had 3 strings and the singer was doing press-ups. That was my first experience. Nothing's really changed. Yeah.
No, I tell you what, Mike, I mean, and I love Sea Power. I love the band and I love the people in it, and Dave, the manager,
band, yeah.
Just wonderful people. But they are pretty damn reckless. So if you know them much better than I do and you still join them, then I admire your chops, mate.
They're very sweet. You couldn't meet a nicer band. Alfie said that when Alfie first met them. He was just like, they're normal people.
Yeah. They know how to party, but anyway. And so
I think they did. That stuff is,
Have they calmed down a bit?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so first things first, and you've got some dates that you want to plug for White Magic for Lovers. Yeah,
we've got a bunch of shows coming up. We're playing with Everything in Brighton. Most of that's now sold out. We're doing 2 shows supporting them, and
Great.
Then the big show for us is at the end of the year. We're playing our first hometown headline show at Alphabet, which is a beautiful new venue run by our friends Will and Matty. And we're doing that on the 19th of December. So that's sort of wrapping up a first year of us being in a band. That's what we're doing. So if anyone wants to come see us, please join us.
And we're releasing an EP.
And that's coming out at the end of this week, isn't it?
So the Law EP, which so the first song and this next song we're about to play are from the Law EP, which is it's kind of a companion to the Book of Lies. It was sort of recorded roughly around the same time, and it's 4 covers, songs that were just key to me and Alfie kind of meeting and realising we had really similar tastes in music. So there's some Hope Sandoval, Drugstore, Skeeter Davis,
right,
who's now a sort of historical figure essentially, but fantastic sort of country singer from the 60s. And so that's out at the end of this week. That's on, believe it or not, this is mad, right? The first time my music in 25 years has made it onto 10-inch vinyl. So we've done a lovely little 10-inch package for it, and that's out this Friday.
Fabulous. Okay. Now, just your CV. We haven't got much time to talk, okay, but we've already mentioned Electric Soft Parade and Sea Power, and, we'll look at Breaks and Levelers. I didn't know that you were in them. We've mentioned The Wave as well. But you were in Sparks for a while, weren't you?
For about 17 hours, yeah.
Right, okay.
It was a rehearsal at, I don't know if anyone knows the Ritz, this studio in London. It was a day's rehearsal, and then we all went to stay in, I won't say the name of the hotel because maybe they still stay there, but they stayed in this particular hotel in Kensington. And I said, like, why'd you always stay there? And Russell said, we find it very leisurely. So they always stay in the same, and it's the first hotel they ever stayed in about, I think, 1974 when they first came to the UK.
Right.
And they've always stayed in the same place. And I honestly, walking into Wagamama with the Mail Brothers, I will never forget that particular weirdness. Honestly, walking into a restaurant, we went for dinner in Wagamama, and walking in there with the Mail Brothers was just fantastic. Also, I should say, in the band was also Stephen McDonald from Red Cross. So the band was insane. It was Steve Nister on drums, Steve McDonald on bass, who is in Melvins, Red Cross,
wow.
has played with all sorts of people, and then the Mail Brothers, and they were absolutely charming. They were unbelievable. Yeah,
we've had them on the show a few times in a few different guises, but just to say that it was Russell's 77th birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, Russell! What
and
a dude.
He's the youngest brother.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing, and the fact that you played with him is just a real badge of honour. So and quite deserved.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that also you're playing guitar in Sparks and playing drums for the Wave. I mean, get out of here. Anyway,
one day I will.
Yes, you will get out of here. You'll get out of there. Well, actually, I need to shut up and let you play 2 more tunes, and then you get out of Maida Vale by 10 o'clock because Hugh Grant lives round the corner and he wants you to be quiet. Something like that. So you got 2 tunes to do for us. What are they, and in what order?
So this one is a cover of the song Lullaby, which Alfie actually introduced me to, by the band Low.
Great.
Who are a fantastic band,
Yeah.
one of our favourites. And this is on the Law EP, and the video's out. Please search it out.
And the second one is When the Sky Darkens Down, which is Tom's original song. And we wanted to shout out Glenn and Karen.
Oh, Glenn and Karen,
who
yeah.
live
So we
behind Maida
went to the
Vale.
pub around the corner
We
earlier.
definitely need to
and,
get out by 10 so we don't disturb them.
Nabbed a fag off a couple of people who live just over the road. Glenn and Karen, this one's for you.